You moved from your MP going to I mean those people himself to you being I mean, being able to voice your needs directly na umesikizwa na hata amesema okay so now I'll do it on Tuesday. So I mean but then then the same issues you're talking about you to like tear each other apart, then some people look at things different. Apana, see, we are. It's not no because this person now. Yeah? But to make them far, even from the 90s, you can remember kwa time hata aungejibu karao bila kupigwa bare to time mpaka unaweza itakuambia prezo we come ni mtu ni kushow. That's nice. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So now, yeah, that's my thoughts on the discussion. So we just need to find companions. Yeah, we don't need to be in competition. We bring each other up. That's how we're going to like even bring change to our own country as we work like come on, my bro. Okay, and then now the other maybe last item maybe I could just talk about before I maybe give the mic out is this concept. So if you can read a book on economic development by Tadoro. So there's a page. I mean, there's a section of development theory, economic development theory, and this is so. And there are two theories there. So the first theory is the false paradigm theory, and the second theory is the dualism theory. So in that false paradigm theory, so they're trying to argue that sometimes development or underdevelopment could be brought about by well-meaning but often uninformed uh, consultants or organizations uh, that that would want that are applying models or theories, the theories of development without understanding the context of that particular country. And I mean that theory could be true if you think about it, because unapata kama I mean those reports are written by people from all these big organizations, all those consulting companies saying these things, but then these people maybe sometimes they're expatriates from a different context where like that level of taxation would practically or theoretically work. Then if you extend it to an African country, it probably wouldn't work because but then they are suggesting that it would because they don't understand that context clearly. They're not interacting with that context well. But that's why mtu huyo anapata anaishi maybe Itisuru, they probably don't interact with people from, uh, uh, slum areas or just see things on the ground. That was the first theory. So application of wrong development models by mostly foreign experts who don't understand the clear context of
Max, Maliza. Finish your thoughts.
Yeah, and then lastly, sorry, so I was just trying to finish. Yeah, is the dualistic theory. Kwa hiyo theory anasema sometimes just accept like there's always a bigger country and a smaller country, so you don't like have to grow like let's tukua dual carriage toka Mombasa hadi Nairobi as the developed countries, and yet we have other issues we need to deal with, like Linda Mama program, all those other social issues we need to deal with. So if we understand our poverty, just let's work within our means. Let the rich ideas be for the rich, as we will be okay and grow at our own space. Thanks.
Thank you, Magzi. And you know that's a very good point. That you cannot take the ideas from one locale and take them and implement them somewhere else. That's why I don't see like NGOs should exist. We need to do away with all the NGOs in the country, because NGOs is somebody else's mind coming into our society or into our community and trying to change those people based on what they think they know about those people living in their own community. Since the beginning of Kibera as a slum, Kibera has continued to grow and the number of NGOs has continued to grow. Kibera is a set. If you get rid of the NGOs, Kibera will wither away and die within maybe 10, 15 years. Economically, Kibera cannot sustain itself without the NGOs. You know that. Kibera has to grow. It has to grow out of whatever it is. It's dead center in the heart of the city. How can it continue being that way? It doesn't make sense. So Kibera is being sustained by the NGOs who come in and they look at the problems people have. So the problems of any society cannot be solved by people from outside. So you cannot go build roads, God knows where, thinking that roads are their problem. Roads are not their problem. But those problems can only be sorted out by the people who live there. Those are the people who know what their real problems are and the pace at which those problems are also going to be sorted. Because sometimes you go and you bring in all these big developments in a rural village somewhere that does not need that. And then now you bring in the hyenas, and the hyenas come and they ravage everything. So the local economy is ravaged, decimated. Those guys who used to slaughter a goat once a week and go sell the hide, now that is no longer economically viable, because the person who used to buy the hides now he has to have a license, and now the hides have to go to the big company. I hope you get what I'm saying. But yeah, good convo. Magzi Mora, what do you want to say?
Thank you, Kibe. Now, I'll start by apologizing to one of our heroes, Kipchoge. I think as Kenyans, we tarnished his name the wrong way. And knowing that Kipchoge is actually very international. He's a GOAT, somebody who has earned his name as a Kenyan athlete. Now, on the matters that are affecting us, one of the problems that we are having currently is the logistics, the MPs and these people, instead of working for us as Kenyans, they have been compromised to a level where they work for the president, but they don't work for the Kenyans. Now, you cannot tell me that we woke up very early in the morning, back 2022, to go vote for someone to represent our ideas, for someone to play key roles that will bring developments or that will earn Kenyans moderate living. But these people, they're actually working against the people instead of working for the people. Now, this thing we call the CDF, I don't understand the reason as to why an MP should be giving bursaries to the institution or to students, whereas the government can actually take that money and pay directly to the schools. Now, one of the places where we are losing money as a country is because this money is passing through a lot of hands, because the government gives this money to the MP. This MP has his own committee and the people whom they are going to eat with this money before it gets to the real common mwananchi. So I believe some of these things they are better off done away with. Let us make this money go directly to the institutions. Why can the government have a platform where they are able to monitor all the companies, all the organizations working in the country, such that we can have a system that is working where the companies or the organizations can be posting maybe any kind of job opportunities, which can be which can help us absorb students as they come from the university. Whereas the government has the numbers of people who are graduating a certain year, the medics, you have the numbers of the lawyers that you are going to have. These kind of things from both the private and the government organizations, to a point where all these numbers. We have the job opportunities posted in that website. We also have the numbers of people who have graduated. You know, not all people like the formal employment. Of course, we have the informal employment, and people who love doing the informal employment or creating their own job opportunities, they will never be bothered with checking those websites. But I believe when you have a working system as a country, many things will be going on. I don't understand how we can be having the county governments run the health department, the hospitals, the level 1, 2, 3, 4, and yet when you visit these hospitals, we don't have medicines. Sometimes we don't even have enough medics in these or doctors and nurses in these hospitals. Yet we have our colleagues who are rioting, like yesterday, people demonstrating, saying the medic interns, they want to be incorporated, they want to be part of, they want to work. These are people who are telling you you want to work, but you don't want people who are working. Instead, you want people who like hoodwinking Kenyans, MPs, people who are just earning salary for just being there. The other thing I think we are overrepresented in terms of the administrative issues. Like, I don't understand why in a county we have the county governor, you have the senator, we have the women rep, we still have the MP and the MCA. All these hands in the Kenyan government, I think this is where money is being lost. This is where corruption is working for these politicians, because before this money for development reaches the ground, hii pesa imekulwa kabla MCA apate hii pesa ya kwenda kufanya ile tu barabara tu huko ndani ndani ama kufanya nini huko kwake, hii pesa ilipita kwa governor akakata yake, ule minister mwenye alikuwa anapea huyo MCA pesa akakata yake, kwa hiyo au CEC wa county. So all these hands in the Kenyan money, I think this is where we are losing, and this is where we are losing it. And I believe it's time we come with a system that is able to work in a more in a more direct manner, in a way that you can be able to see how things are being learned in a more accountable way. Because they believe uh, this country, the way it is right now, the number of people who are representing us as Kenyans are very many, and all these hands are there to loot. Nobody is there to work for us. Uh, the other thing I believe, this movement, this Gen Z movement, it is heading nowhere when it is leaderless. It is something that we have to check and see, because I don't think there is something you can be able to discuss or negotiate with someone when you don't see a visible person to talk with directly, because all of us, we are here, like all of us, we are here on space, and all of us, we are speaking, all of us, we are talking, but we don't have someone to represent all these ideas, or to come out and say, this is what these people are saying. Because all of us, the million of us, we have our own ideas. We have what we stand for. We have what we believe should be done. But now, when it comes to the negotiation table, we don't have someone to stand up for us. So I think going forward is something that we need to know who should lead us. And this idea of Kenyans bringing each other down. Like the other day, I saw, I think it was Khalif Kailo, he was almost being brought down. I remember sometimes back, people were clapping. When I think Kibe, you have been, uh, I think you lost your YouTube account. People are clapping. These are Kenyans. I don't know why Kenyans will like standing for the wrong things instead of appreciating each other, instead of wanting the best from each other, and instead of supporting each other. I believe this is the moment where we need each other. This is the moment where we need to stand up for each other. And this is the moment we need to show up this government, to show this government that we know what they are doing, and we can be able to stand up for our own rights and for to ask for what we need. Thank you, Kibe. Yes.
All right. Thank you. Who was that? That was Maura, right?
Yes, Maura.
All right, thank you, Mauro. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Kibe.
All right, let's go to Zed Munga. Zed Munga, what do you want to say?
Hi. Okay, Kibe. Nilikuwa na swali ya kuuliza. Okay, this is to you, Kibe. Okay. Since we started the space, watu wengi wanauliza questions that don't really matter right now. Mbona people are speaking individually. Wanataka cases zitakoliwe individually. I don't know why. For me, Gen Zs they are protesting for one thing. Ruto must go. Why? Because he's on top of the hierarchy. And if he doesn't listen to us, kama ulisikia, the bill alikuwa na bribe watu MPs wafanye nini? Wa vote for yes.
So Zed,
yeah.
Zed,
yeah.
Settle down your thoughts and just focus on one thing, okay?
Yeah.
Settle down. Stop jumping all over the place. Just settle down on your thoughts. Calm down and settle on one thing. So don't jump all over the place. So what is that one thing that you wanted to say?
Oh, okay. The one thing that I wanted to say, nilikuwa nasema hivi. Okay. The message is clear. Ruto must go. Sijui mbona mnasema vitu mingi. Because kama yeye ndo our president, we don't have, mnasema Gen Z, we should have a leader. We already have a leader. Ruto is our leader. Nani ye most corrupt. Mbona, do you think going against Ruto is something that is very, very simple? Sio kitu mpaka wazazi wetu wameshindwa kufanya. Sasa wanatu congratulate, sisi ndo tunakufa kwa protests. So why are you deviating? Mliona kwa protests, tulikuwa tumeandika banners. I was there. Tulikuwa tumeandika banners. Ruto must go. Mbona mna deviate? Because this thing is going to go down the people wana deviate from the discussion. Ruto anawapeleka, anawaswe. For what? Watu walikufa. Mbona hamkutake message yetu? Na it was very clear. Why? Because if you are going to play around, leo naona wanaenda kupass bill. Ruto is going to sign, sijui anaenda kusign nini. Leo watu wameamka afya center. Vitu za hanasis. Okay, it's good. But let the motion continue. Ruto must go. Kama yeye ndo ako on top of the hierarchy, yeye ndo anafaa kutoka. Juu yeye ndo ako most corrupt. Na if tulimchagua na alitudanganya, mbona endelee? I know it's hard kumtoa hapo. But if hatutamtoa, hakuna kitu tutafanya. Okay, it's good venye alikuja kwa space. Nilikuwa hapa Twitter. Nilikuwa naona anakuja kwa space, ana let people in, alafu anawachezea games. Nyinyi hamtaongea, yeye ataongea. This man, usidhani this man is very clever. Mtu ni mjanja sana. He knows. Ndo maana we are saying tribeless, fearless and leaderless. Because being a leader is very dangerous right now. Kama uliona watu venye walikuwa nakufa. So right now, let's let's not deviate from the conversation. I know it's hard to tackle this giant Ruto, na najua ako na powerful structure, lakini kama mtamtoa hakuna kitu mtakuwa mmesolve, yeah. Hiyo ndo tu nilikuwa nataka kusema.
Thank you, Zed. Appreciate that. Cosmos, are you there?
Yes. Yes. Good morning, Kibe. Yesterday, when we talked in the morning, and I left you with a story, and I went into SGR to travel back to Nairobi, and something happened when I was there. You are hearing me?
Hey, acha kupanic.
Hello?
We can hear you, bro.
Okay. So when I was in the SGR, I listened to some young people talking, and I could feel it. One of the things when they are talking, you feel lack of civic knowledge by the group. And listening to the last two speakers, you realize that is one of the undoing of the whole movement. The previous guy just talked about money getting lost between the governor and the MCA and the minister. When we are talking about removing the CDF, we're actually looking at a situation that is at the county level, because at the county level, the MCAs have no fund equivalent to CDF. Of course, they have been fighting for it over the years, but the Constitution, being the mother of the laws, has already cleared, and the Supreme Court has actually spoken to the same, that legislators should not be handling development money. So it doesn't happen at the county level. The county level, the MCAs, actually they have a very big problem, because most of the time they have to go and hang on those machines when they are doing the roads, so that they can be associated with the same, because they don't have funds that they can do it. So listening to that, the Gen Zs need to go down and read, so that when they're arguing their issues, they can put them into perspective. The other thing is the issue of leadership. Last night, I talked with my son, who was at Uhuru Park, and he told me that they gave a bait to the regime and then the people, where they presented Omutata, and you could see all over the tweets, the X was full of hate from the KK bloggers asking who is Omutata and all that. And that was simply a bait. So again, I think they're also working on issue of leadership, but they wanted to see how the people will behave. But of course, one of the things is that this particular focus was not merely to take over government. They wanted the government to listen, but it is evolving to new things every day. And my third point, which I raised yesterday before I left, was the way bloggers allied to KK are fanning this fire. If you see what all the communication yesterday, looking for who funded the event on Sunday, I saw Kuria, the CS. This guy, we were in the same campus. He was ahead of me, and sometimes you wonder what he has become. Is calling the DP the king of Madeira, and the type of talk that he gave. So you look at all these people, the king of Madeira, whoever the DP, has also followers. And so those followers will also join this thing. So you look at it, we find you are opening, the KK is opening directions of fire, and it will never come down. In fact, you look at this Bianca, Mutai, the things they are speaking about the whole thing. It's like they actually want Ruto to go. When you listen to them, it's like they really want Ruto to go. And that's why they are, wakiona moto inazima, wanawasha zaidi, wakiona inaenda chini wanawasha zaidi. And then lastly, Kibe, there is another big problem. When I went to the village, I realized the Gen Zs in the rural areas are not in tandem with the urban group. So even when we are shouting that 2027, there are chances that wataregister kwa wingi, and then they will remove Ruto. I went down to the village, I listened to the young people, and I talked to others in other areas, and I realized kama kwetu sasa huko Ukambani, unaona Gen Z kijana amevaa t-shirt huko mgongo imeandikwa Gen Z for Kalonzo. So are we in the same line when the Gen Zs in Nairobi are saying hawataki dinosaurs? So my take is that there is a lot of need for civic education among these young people, and as they proceed forward, then they might need some input from earlier generation that has always been in this fight. Because one of the big problem, and I noted yesterday, is when there's a feeling like there's nothing been happening before this particular movement. But if we have been doing things, and that's why now they are able to go out in the street. Of course, there's a reincarnation of Moi, and he's going to use the same script that Moi used to deal with it. But we have been doing things that is need to be appreciated before as they move on with this movement, because we are the same people. We are the ones who are assisting. Because if my son is not working, but when he said he's going to the street, you feel it. Is he going on foot from wherever he is driving from? So we are coming out assisting our children, but all of them need to appreciate some people did some work before, and they need to give civic knowledge to the rest of the young people across the country. Thank you, Kibe. Those were my opinion this morning.
Ati uliona t-shirt imeandikwa Gen Z for Kalonzo?
Yes.
Allah.
So you are going to see another Gen Z for Raila. You are going to see another one Gen Z for Sifuna, because politicians are scavengers.
Interesting. Frank Kei, what do you think?
Yeah, Maze, Andrew Kibe, Maze, thank you for your time. Thank you for this opportunity. First, I could like to take this opportunity to say my condolences to the family of those who lost their beloved ones. And second, Maze, nambia tu my youth, Maze, that's good. This is a good move, Maze. Let's keep up. Tuendelee tu hivyo hivyo, Maze. Hatuwezi give up. So Kibe, Maze, kuna kitu inaniuma sana, Maze, na sibambiki na hiyo story. History ya house levy, history ya kata vitu yenye hakuna, Maze, haibambi vile. So kama mabozi wanaingia mtaa saa hii, inabidi pia Maze waangalie hiyo story ya house levy sana. Alafu hii mshahara Maze unapata boy analipwa kama by then afanya mali nalipwa 10k Maze, na katwa do zingine mpaka anashindwa na baki na do ya nini. So pia Maze waangalie tu sana, Maze. Yeah, ni hiyo tu Kibe.
All right, thank you, Frank Kei. Maina, are you there? Maina Muikunu.
Yes, Kibe.
Go ahead. What's up?
Thank you, bro. First of all, I want to say that this is the revolution of the mind, and Kibe, I want to congratulate you for the movement, for the man space area that you entered, and how much you were instrumental in bringing about a change in the men's sphere. And it pains me because many people don't give. We have a tendency of demanding and wanting blood as Kenyans. I feel like we don't. We take it too far. We don't like to appreciate each other. And the way some people were up against Kibe, the day Kibe you try to put the host, because everyone knows here on Twitter that Kibe is the king of hosts of X spaces. And the way guys were coming out here with try to bring Kibe down, it's the same, I think, the mentality that guys are having out here. I want to say that this is a revolution of the mind. It doesn't matter who is the president. Yes, we might be out here saying Ruto must go and everything else, but first of all, can we first of all remove our mentality? Can we change our mentality first of all? Because if we can come against Kibe in such a way, because Kibe is not a politician, Kibe was not our problem. Even Osama guys, I want you to understand some of these things. You know, this is a Babylonian system. I don't have a problem with any government blogger or whoever is doing this or that. Let everyone has their own opinion. Let everyone air their opinion. We are changing this country. And if someone has a different opinion from you, can we learn to respect each other? Let every opinion be brought on the table. This lynching mentality, mob justice should first of all stop. Because we'll need everyone. We'll need every opinion. Even in the new republic that we are dreaming all of us to have, we are going to have opposition. We're going to have different opinions. Because I've seen a lot of agendas traveling here and there. I've seen a lot of hatred. I've seen a lot of anger. And some of this anger is being directed in the wrong places. So right now, we want to bring Kibe down. I don't know, we want to bring Africa down. I don't know, we want to kill Osama. I don't know. Can we focus now? Guys, we need to focus on what we want to do. We want to change our country. And first of all, can I tell you, uko mashinani, I come from Muranga. And unazenda huko hivyo, you find that how people are thinking is very, very different from what we are talking online. So we need to have civic education. We need, first of all, to change our thinking, because now we want to make sure that the political class are also in line with what we are thinking. Sina mengi Kibe.
Hello?
Can you hear me, Maina?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Thank you, Maina. And, you know, the thing about it is, just mute your mic for a second.
Okay.
So the thing about it is, and I remember this happened in 1990, is it 94, 93, with the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, South Africa. What was it called? Not, what was the guy called? Desmond Tutu. Desmond Tutu had a thing. It was called Truth and Reconciliation Commission. Because after the apartheid and when they got their independence from the Boers, they realized that there was still a lot of hate. There was so much hate. And this hate was not good for governance, was not good for the country. The country cannot continue with hate. The country cannot continue operating from a point of hate, because what happens is everything becomes violent. Anything becomes violent. Now today, MOH, there's a threat that MOH, that protest will become violent. So the country becomes completely ungovernable. But we must stop the hate. So there's no other conversation that should go on, because everybody wants to bring in their own, their own issue. Oh, we have at MOH today. Tomorrow we shall be at Kupet. We shall be with the Cusco. We shall be with this. We shall be with that. So all these issues are normal day-to-day issues, but they cannot be handled from a point of anger or from a point of hate, or even in any emotion whatsoever. We cannot be emotional about this. So we must come back to our center as men. And I'm not talking to the women. The women are going to follow the men wherever the men decide to go. You know that. The women will always go with the winners. When you go to the club today, if Kenya Kwanza has won. There'll be women with Kenya Kwanza. If you go to the club today, ODM has won. There'll be women with ODM. Women always go where the men have won. So it is up to us as men to win and to win the right way so that you can sleep at night. We cannot continue killing ourselves. We cannot continue killing the best of us. It is, bro, and I'm talking for myself. I'm not even talking for anybody else. I'm talking for myself. Because I have seen what we have done to me. Now, me being the strong guy that I am, I can talk about it, I can resist it, I can say, fuck you. What about somebody else who's just starting off? Somebody who has the best intention, somebody who's in his early 20s, somebody who has not grown a thick skin, somebody whose backbone is still developing. And you kill that person. I get there is that. It's all fair in love and war, right? But we cannot continue. So when today I started, I said, you know what? I realized we fucked up Eliud Kipchoge, and I was not among them. But I take responsibility because it's a very Kenyan thing that we do. And you can see on my TL, people saying, who, me? I never did it. You did it. You apologized by yourself. No, it was not me. Me, I never did anything. So we are denying the thing that we did a few months ago. And you expect that today you're going to move on into something else while you're denying the evil that is inside you, that is inherent inside you, that you meted out on an innocent man a few months back. No, not me. Me, I was not there. I was not there. Me, I didn't do it. You did it. So you apologize. We sound like children. Eliud Kipchoge needs an apology from each and every one of us in this country, because the ones who were attacking him were not stopped by us. We never stopped them. We should have stopped them and told them, no, you shall not do this. Not to this one. It's time to stand up to these bullies, these online bullies who are threatening the lives of people. Because if you cannot do this now, you want to tell me that you're going to be given a position and people allow you to execute your mandate? How? How? How are you going to be given any job and people allow you to do your job? Because they'll come into your office and do the same thing that they did to Eliud Kipchoge. One wrong move. One wrong move. And if you hear my conversation, the reason why I am still going to go after Osama is because Osama became a weasel. Him hosting the president, that's not a problem. In fact, kudos to him. You can host anybody you want. Nobody should tell you what to do, Osama. But the fact that you were a weasel and never came back to say you were a weasel is why I will never stop going after you until you change your ways. That's why we have to apologize to Eliud Kipchoge for fucking him. Whether you are active or you sat by the sidelines as you watched people fucking him, you are as bad as the person who fucked him. We cannot move on as a country, and I'm telling you this without fear or favor or whatever, or any reprisal whatsoever. We cannot move on as a country with this evil heart that Allah has set inside us. It doesn't matter how many Gen Z movements come through. It doesn't matter Gen X. It doesn't matter who, even God himself. If he comes and finds an obstinate people like us right now, he cannot help us. God himself, if he leaves heaven today, comes down and says, I am here. He cannot help us. This evil heart, we have to get rid of it. We have to forgive and we have to repent. We have to forgive and we have to repent. To the people that you hurt, go and repent. To the people who hurt you, you better forgive them quickly. We must shake hands and build this nation. Otherwise, this direction we're going in is a useless direction. I kid you not. You may want to hate me all you want, but we're going nowhere unless we forgive and we repent. Let's forgive one another. So even Osama, if you're listening to me, Osama, I don't hate you. I don't hate you. I don't have the capacity to hate. Why would I waste my hate on you? I know what you did. I know exactly what you did. But even for you, Osama, you must ask for forgiveness and you must repent. You fucked up. And we stop making memes out of this, because you're playing with people's lives and livelihoods. Or most of these people who have come into this game the last few days, these are not politicians. These are not seasoned politicians who are used to handling this kind of vitriol. If the country does not learn how to forgive and how to repent, that when you are wrong, you say, Enyewe, I was wrong, so that we can fix that problem communally. But you cannot continue lying to us and expect that we're going to fix problems. No, we have to stop lying. When you stop lying, that's when you become that guy who forgives and who repents. It sounds very Kyoto, very philosophical. Maina, what do you want to say?
I wanted to say something to finish. 10 years ago, that is 2014, and I'm going this on record. I used to work at Power 254, which was owned by Boniface Mwangi. Right now, the wife runs the organization right now, the Power 254. So there was, you can check it out online. There was something we did in the CBD. It was called the diaper mentality. After doing the MPICs, where they delivered the pigs at the parliament. So what I wanted to address was that there's actually a photo of mine. You can check online. We have photos. So we went to CBD. We put on diapers, and they took some photos, and we splashed them online. We were actually paid for that. I don't have to say the amount. It was just some bogus money. So I want to address the Gen Zs now, because me, I'm a millennial. And I want to tell you guys, this is a game that some of you don't even understand. These are game that is being played by pros. So guys, focus. And some of you have really paid the ultimate price with your lives. So we want to change our country, yes, but get rid of the hatred. Let's focus. Let's address the issues that you guys have and everyone has. We want a better Kenya, but for everyone. Thank you.
So me, I want, instead of telling me how much you got paid, I want to know who paid you.
Boniface Mwangi, he's the one. He's a CEO. He was our boss. Everything we're being paid to take the pigs to parliament. We also took we burnt coffins. The first one we did the pigs. The second one we took coffins, black coffins, like 50 of them. We burnt them outside parliament. The third one, we went to CBD and we took photos wearing diapers, adult diapers, and they took photos and they splashed them online everywhere. So that was my first interaction with the activism at that time in 2014. And so right now when I'm seeing all these things happening, I'm like, guys, you have no idea. You have no idea how this game is played. This is a professional game. So guys, yes, there are regular people on the street, yes, but the regular people are taking the bullets, not those guys. So just be careful. You can push the online thing, but when you're going to the ground, be very careful. You don't have to take a bullet. It's not worth it, guys. It's not. Kife.
All right. Maina, just mute your mic. Huh? Yeah, there's a lot of feedback on your side. I have many questions to ask you. Could you drop and come back and so that we can have a conversation? And get rid of the headphones or the Bluetooth if you have them. Meanwhile, No Jumper, are you here? No Jumper. Going once, going twice. This is the second time you're coming here and you don't speak. There we go. Manongi. So Liverpool, niaje. Right, as Manongi is checking out his live. Bash Kuria.
Morning guys. I hope mnanisikia.
Kabisa, go ahead.
I've been listening to your spaces for the last tuseme a week hivi, and my mind has changed on a lot of things. I won't lie. Kuna vitu umefanya nika change, and I've been thinking the way that the finance bill ilikuwa successful, it's because of the way we were able to mobilize a lot of Kenyans. Ukiangalia hapa X, we are just hata hii space ikienda sana itafika like 3k maybe 10k, hata yeah, anyone even when it gets to 80k, I mean 80k is not a lot of, it's a lot of people, but the people who the reason the finance bill was able to change was because there were like thousands and thousands, maybe on 25th there were even like millions of people in Nairobi. So it's a mobilization game, which I think right now ni ngumu kufanya juu kila msee ako na agenda yake. Mtu anakuja na hii sijui mara ni Murkomen, mwingine mara ni hii, mara sijui nisikia siku ingine hapa tena street lights, mara corruption. Now that makes it very difficult to mobilize a certain number of people to make changes. Now the solution yenye niliona inaweza make sense hapa, we can't we like mobilize for something like we get a, not like a position, just a position where we can directly make changes in the government. Like for example, we can mobilize for like, I think hata ni Kenya tu umekuwa ukisema, like for just like a position, maybe like a committee for, because I don't think we can totally eradicate the government as we speak, and it's the only way that corruption inaweza isha. Hakuna venye tunaweza toa mtu mmoja corruption iishe, ni hiyo gava yote tu ishuke venye tu kila mtu anasema. But now that might be impossible right now, so we need to elect like a watchdog team that is there watching as we infiltrate now hizo sectors, so that we can now eventually, because I don't think this is a short-term game, this is a really long-term game. Before we can get at hizi changes zote zenye kila mtu anasema, we need to be there and totally there, not even at like a part of us, like probably everyone should be in the leading seats and something like that. So I just think we need to somehow get a committee. Maybe we should rally for us to get a chance, for us to get a committee into the government, and then we mobilize crazily to get that into, to get because we I think we realize we can get their attention. Now if we can get their attention and we get for demands, and they can give us our demands, then why don't we demand for like a committee to be in the government? And then when we are there, now these changes can start happening one by one. Because even if we rally, mtu mmoja kuja kurally hapa for like street lights, no, me, I won't even bother with that. So mobilization ya hiyo ita fail, na that will just be a trending topic in Twitter na ipite na iende. We need something that can be mobilized heavily. Now, I think for that to happen, it needs to be talked about a lot and with many, many, many people. But it has to be something that will make sense to mobilize for. Yeah.
All right. That was Bash Kuria, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we all, yeah, I agree with you. We're all saying the same thing, because for whoever it is who's going to be tasked with the work, then it means that they have to push and be accountable for it, which is what Gen Z is afraid of, because Gen Z do not trust that there is anybody who can do the work without having to screw them. I mean, the fact that Gen Z went to the streets, it means that they have lost faith in all forms of leadership. That says a lot about everything. So the fact that Gen Z went to the streets means they have lost all faith in all systems, because going to the streets is the last resort, isn't it? If the system was working, there would be no need to go to the streets.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, thank you, Bash Kuria. Jojo Uko, what do you want to say?
Thank you so much, Kibe. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. You're good.
Okay, thank you. So I think I wanted to start by a quote I saw this week, which for me made a lot of sense. And it says that, hello? It says that eternal vigilance is the price for liberty. Yeah. And I'm happy that at least as Kenyans or as young people, we started that process of wanting to liberate ourselves from this nonsense of poor leadership we are experiencing as a country and even as Africa as a whole. And what I can say that our problems as Kenyans, that started way back, they're deep-rooted from way back. And for us to deal with them, this is not like a one day thing, a 1 month thing. This thing will require us to like constantly do it. And this means that every time we see like the government putting punitive measures, we are supposed to rise up and speak against it. If this happens tomorrow, whether it happens the day after tomorrow, like it's something that we're supposed to do constantly and in different avenues. And I'm happy, like at least even now you can see changes even happening in church. If leaders come to church and we don't want them to speak to us, we tell them right there, you know. Whether it is in the street, someone comes and says bullshit, like we stop them right there. Whether it's, I don't know, whatever space you will see it, even if it's on the road or anywhere, I think that's the vigilance that will be required. And it will need each and every person's contribution. And I think secondly now, when we are now trying to liberate ourselves, we have to know like now what will happen, what will work for us and what will not work for us. Unaona? Now, mi naweza sema like for me I can say that kutoa tu Ruto peke yake will not work for us. Unaona? Because tunaweza toa Ruto and we put in another person who still has the same principles and who still believes in the same path of leadership as Ruto. Unaona? Like huwezi toa punda replace na punda ingine. That is like what I can get to say. So mi naweza sema ni for us to make that presidency ama those seats in the government to be of value, na mtu mwenye atakuwa anaenda hapa kuanga wakienda with the vision of working for people, then we have to continue with this vigilance ile yenye we keep them in check. That means that every person who will want to be vying for those positions, they'll have to be held accountable. Unaona? Yeah, sasa tusipokuwa tukikeep this elective posts in check, that will mean that now we'll have people wenye jana alikuwa wash leo ametaka kuingia hapo hivyo. Unaona? Anyone will want to be going there for the wrong reasons. So that means we have to continue with the check. And for me, Kibe, one thing also that I was happy about concerning this uprising ni, at least for once as a country, we are getting to see like a different kind of population. Unaona, tumekuwa na hizi problems since independence whereby tumekuwa tukisuffer illiteracy levels, very high illiteracy levels, poverty and ignorance. But at least for now I can say that we are having at least we are having a good number of illiterate population, people who can question things. Unaona? Like if something is going to pass, like we can sit down, read it, know how it is going to affect us. See kama back in the days whereby these people could just sway us hivyo hivyo. To me nakumbuka when the referendum was passing during the yes and no, most of our parents walikuwa tu wanaipitisha tu juu ya chungwa na ndizi. Like some of them even never read it. But at least now we can have a population that can
George,
yes.
Hiyo point yako ni point kali sana mno. And you guys need to hold on to that. That is a very good thing that you guys are not illiterate. Hold on to that shit and keep reading and keep pointing out this shit for to us. What do you think?
That is very true. And me constantly, I go back. Like we have to understand things, and that is the first weapon that will help us as young people. We have to understand. We have to learn. And this thing, even I saw it from Omtata. Omtata says that for him to be the person who he is today fighting, he had to go back to school. He had to go and learn. He had to go and learn these systems to fight it because you can't fight a system that you even don't understand. So literacy, that is one thing that we're supposed to arm ourselves with. The second thing that we will have to fight is ignorance, Kebe. You know, we have this population of young people who believe that, oh, me, I can't vote. Like, we have a certain way of thinking that really can't help us. Because me now, I was asking someone, if last time we had 8 million people not voting, then I was asking myself, what if all these 8 million people came to vote? And what if all these 8 million were people who could have elected a different person who is not Ruto and who is not Raila? That means we could have had another person who is even maybe Jimmy Wanjigi or someone else. Unaona? Because me, I was just like, if today we had election and only 4 million people showed up to vote, that is the only population, or that is the only votes that will be counted, and that is the things that will have they will have the authority ama the power to bring in a person who will influence our lives maybe for the next 5 to 10 years. So me, I'm just like, whatever change you can make in your position, like just make it. Unaona, tuachane na hizi ignorance zenye zinatu cost a lot as a nation. Second thing ni hii kitu yenye tunasema ati tukienda kwa streets people are losing lives and everything. I'm just like, there's always a price to pay for everything. There's a price to pay when you go to the streets, and there's a price to pay when you don't go to the streets. The price we pay when you don't go to the streets ni ile constantly kuumia kila siku, because there will always be people dying when you don't go to the streets. Like bandits are killing people each and every day in our country because the government is not working. That is the price we are paying if you don't go to the streets. People are dying in the hospitals because of poor services. That is the price you are paying if you don't go to the streets. People are dying of hunger each and every time to may have at even politicians coming to tell us that we contribute to go and feed people in those marginalized communities. That is the price we
But
pay.
George,
Yeah.
but George, I have a different opinion. Just mute your mic for a second.
Okay.
There's so much feedback on your end, so it sounds horrible when we're trying to talk. And I'm a conversationalist. I like to talk. So my point is this, and you saw June 25th. When June 25th, when the demonstrations were made sexy, and the demonstrations were made sexy. Oh, there's a bat in my house. The fuck is? Yeah. So when the Manamanos were made sexy, everyone went there. So there's a place for everyone. There's a place for everything, and I don't want us to get stuck on. And this is what George, I'm trying to get you out of. I don't want to get us to get stuck on only one way of achieving results. Waswahili usemaje? There are many ways to is it to kill a rat or to skin a rat? Ali, you would correct me if I'm wrong. But there are many ways of getting to where we want to go, and there are many different paths and many different strategies. I just don't want us to get caught up in one strategy and then insist that this is the only strategy to getting there. Okay? So there are a lot of, and I said this before. I said someone like Khalif Cairo. Khalif Cairo may not have been the best protester that you want, the model protester who goes and he's fighting the cops in the streets. No, but his fight was as important in the way he was doing it, by going to the media houses, by talking, by doing his videos and everything. That was very important. Someone like Boniface Mwangi. You saw Boniface Mwangi coming up and saying, hey, I'm going to host a concert and I'm going to bring all these people. That fight is very important because that's another angle of the fight. That's another flank. Someone like that fat fuck called Guaido, even him and all his uselessity, his fight is very important, including Miguna. Okay, so I just don't want us to get caught up in only one way of doing things, because then it might lock out other people. You get what I'm saying, George?
I get what you're saying, Kibe, and that's why I started by that constant vigilance as a country, and I also made sure to also say that we as a country can do it in each and every space that we coexist in. This change could even happen in your workplace. It could happen in your social media handle. It could happen everywhere, anywhere you want it to be. And that's why I think I started by saying it's a social responsibility for each and every citizen wherever you are. Yeah. And I think where I was just heading to the that part of I think our government has almost gotten us to an extreme whereby now we believe that for us to curb the extreme, we have to do the extreme. And I think that's why now people are heading to the streets. Because I believe that we've had people who have tried to bring change in this country in different avenues. We have like Human Rights Commission and everything. But the reason now that we went to the street is we wanted to make a point to the government because they've gotten us to an extreme that we can't bear it anymore. You know, like we've been talking of these prices of unga all the time. They come with it in their campaign policies, meaning that they know, but they've not been making a change, Kibe. And I think that's why at this certain moment, at this moment where we are now as a country, we are just trying to make a point, an extreme point as well, to the government. And that's what I was saying. After these extreme measures that you put in place, moving forward now that the government is also trying to reform, I hope that 2 months down the line we will not be back to the same bullshit again. And that's what I'm saying. We have to continue like we have to apply that continued vigilance moving forward. That even if you're not going to go to the streets, what can you be doing constantly? Like if I'm as a person or as a young person, Gashago comes to our church and he's saying nonsense that I can't entertain, like we can stop him right there. Unaona? If I'm on the road, like yesterday I saw a photo of people, unaonanga vile maskari wanaingia kwa gari, then wanasema gari ipelekwe police station. Everyone in that car said no, we have to reach where we are going fast in our destination, then the driver ende police station. You know, that's someone who just came in with a punitive measure. And I think that's what is required in each and every place penye mtu atakuwa. Hiyo constant vigilance tu, can you speak up wherever you are? Can you make a change wherever you are? In each and every place penye uko. Can you make a change? Inaweza kuwa ni kidogo, but yes, it will make a difference in the long run. Tukiput it in the basket, it will bring a difference. And it has to be continued. And one thing that I was even praying for so hardly, as even you're heading to the polls, I think as for the first time as a country in 2027, I want us to also bring the changes to the polls. Like, can you vote us these old grandfathers, the people like Kina Raila, Kina Kalonzo, Nini Nini? Can we help away these people and just get a new fresh breed of people as well? Like, what will someone like Alonso and Raila bring to us as a country today that they've never brought for 40 years? You know, yeah, I think we have to bring just changes in each and every place we coexist in, Kibe. Thank you.
Man, you know, George, you have some good points there. You have some good points. I remember once we were going to from school to home. We were traveling in a matatu. The matatu used to be 6 bob. So on that day, the guy says it's like 8 bob. And kawaida were used to paying 6 bob. The guy says it's 8 bob. And bro, I only have 6 bob because we know it's standard 6 bob. It was 7 o'clock in the evening. We're from practice. I'm going home. This guy changes his mind and says, no, it's now 8 bob because it's G 7, whatever. I'm like, hey, you can't just change on me like this. You said it's 6 bob when we were getting on in the matatu. Why are you changing midway now to tell me it's 8 bob? And I think it was not even 8 bob. I think it was like 7 bob. I'm like, no fucking way, bro. And me and my buddy refused to pay. Somebody in the matatu were just getting over there, Haile Selassie, just that roundabout so that you get to Uru Highway. Somebody in the matatu turns and faces me and my buddy, John. And he says, hey, if you don't have the extra shilling, I can pay it for you. And we're like, no, it's not about the extra shilling. I don't need to have the extra shilling. I don't need you to pay the extra shilling for me. That's not the arrangement here. I don't need this from you. This guy said it was 6 bob. Why has he changed his mind? Why aren't you guys enraged about this? Mbona nyinyi hamjakasirika? Ati sasa mnanikasirikia mimi juu I'm putting this guy, I'm holding him to account. Nikasema si nyinyi mnaweza lipa vile mnataka na mnaweza jichangia bro. And this time I'm in high school. I think I was in form 3. I told them, you guys can do whatever the fuck you want to do, but I ain't paying extra. So when I saw the Gen Z movement come in, I remembered those days of mine, and I'm like, hey, I could be that old guy who's standing in their way. I could be that old guy who doesn't want to be disturbed and now is being a bitch. So before I become that guy, I better get out of their way and let them do their thing. So for you, Gen Z, wherever you see the wrong, and thank you, George, for giving us that nice message. Wherever you see the wrong, wherever it is, it doesn't matter. You don't need to have a demonstration. You stop it at source. Au makarao walituzoea, ma MPs wakatuzoea. Siku hizi MP anaweza enda wrong side kwa barabara na hakuna kitu mtafanya. MP bro. You saw Karen Nyamo going wrong side at the roundabout, one of the busiest roundabouts in the country. Apo GPO. And she's laughing about it. Peter hapa. She's got not just wrong side, on the roundabout. So George, thank you for that message. Call that bullshit out wherever you see it. So that even when somebody asks you for a bribe, bro, be loud about that shit. What do you mean you ask me for a bribe for a service you're supposed to be offering? And that's why Gen Z, you guys must come together as a one unit, because this one unit can weed out all this bullshit. You can go and tell somebody, oh, you're asking me for a bribe. I'll be back. You decide whether you're going to sit on that seat or not, but I'll be back. And I swear, come and get me. I will go with you. Now, those ones, I like those ones. Come and get me. I will go with you wherever. Or somebody asks you for your bribe, you go to them and tell them, I will be back. You wait for me here. Either you kill me or I will be back. It has to be that radical. God damn it. George, thank you, my man. Thank you for giving me that nice energy. I appreciate it.
Can I just say something, Kibe?
Go ahead. Just give me your final submission.
Okay. You're speaking out. I think one problem I can say maybe some of us have, even the Gen Zs, especially the first lot of Gen Zs, when you wali interact sana na millennials, they still have some traits of millennials. And I think it's taught from our parents that you always have to look like a good person, be respectful to older people, regardless of whether they're doing bullshit. And I remember this one time where Sifuna and Mugatana were on radio, and Sifuna was making a lot of sense and speaking out facts, saying that the older generation cost us a lot. And it was just like, oh, you have to be respectful. Or even brought in like Izo Vituzasiji, his community, they don't speak to elders in a certain way. And I'm just like, will you just sit there, for instance, will you just sit there, see your parent messing you up, messing your whole generation up, and you can't speak up because you're being respectful? Ama you want to look like a good person? Ama there's a certain way you have to conform in the society? I mean, and you're going to hurt yourself. Like, sometimes we have to rise beyond that. Like, we have to know like what's the common good that can apply for each and every person, irrespective of whether you're in a higher position or you're an older person. If you're messing up, you're messing up. And if your age mates can't tell you, manze, sisi young people, we will tell you, and we will be blank about it. And perhaps that's one thing they don't like about this generation. But I think we have to constantly continue speaking up. And I think that's my last submission, unless anyone will have a question. Thank you, Kibe.
Thank you, George, for coming through. I appreciate that. Manongi, what's going on?
Salama kakangu. Now, just
hold up. Just mute your mic. Mute your mic. Yes. Never assume what you have to say is very important. It's more important than anybody else's thing. Never assume that. We make that mistake all the time, and you think that this, bro, I'm the one to take the pena. Let people nominate you to take the pena, so that they can carry you on their shoulders when you win or when you fail. Never assume that one thing that you have to say is so important that you can interrupt everybody else in the room to say it. And then sometimes what you're saying has already been said, and maybe somebody more articulate than you said it. When you go into a place, my guy, this free advice, free game. When you go into a room of men, just shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck up. Read the room. Read what's happening. But if you go there, you open your mouth. Oh. All right. Yeah. So let's go to Ali. Ali, what's happening, brother?
Hey, good morning, Kibe. I hope you're good.
And you know, the only reason why I call you brother is so that you don't go Allah Akbar on me, you guys, and send a fatwa my way.
I can't say the fatwa on your way. Why? What have you done for you to receive those fatwas? But I'm good.
I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. What's going on in your mind, Ali? What's good?
The day you go wrong on me, baby, I'll send those fatwas on you. Don't worry about it. But as long as you're good,
I'll go to Kisii and counter it. I'll go to Kisii. I look for Mchawi. I tell them, Mchawi, hey, listen, whatever you need those featherless chickens. You need a headless dog. Whatever you need, counter Ali's fatwa. Fatma. What do you call it?
Kurogan. Unless you believe in those stuff, they cannot work on you. Unless you believe in them, but as long as you don't believe in them, they can never get you. That's my belief is. But the Kisii ones are not stronger than ours. Ours are more superior, more practical.
But you know, you are more superior because of all the talking. The coastal people do nothing but talk, so they live in the imagination, bro. That talking has kept the coastal people backward.
They motivate themselves, and they pamper. Hey, that's why they never proceed. That's why I said, if I was still in Mombasa, I think I'll still be backwards. My mentality, my thinking ways will be so backwards, too slow. The only thing you do, you talk about each other, about what people, you talk of events. That's the only thing they do, and they have a lot of that time. Watch out to see entangled in those guys. It's very addictive. How's the interaction there?
Let me tell you, Ali. I get so tired of. I don't know what happened to me. Something happened to me, and I don't know when it happened. Because nowadays I can't just have conversations with anyone. I get so tired of because the usual conversations are tiring me very quickly. And I'm like, why am I getting tired? I'm supposed to be able to just sit here and enjoy the moment. But utasikia mtu ameanza na mauongo na shanga, ai, ndaka hapa nisikize mauongo, brother. So I'm like, hey, either I leave and I go sit by myself and lie to myself, than sit here and hear you lying to us. Imagine there's a guy who told us the other day, oh, unajua, there's a place where I bought a shamba. And because I bought that shamba, the landlord didn't want me to buy the shamba. The guy who's selling him the shamba didn't want him to buy the shamba. So this guy went to Mchawi and had this guy's children killed. So I asked him, how did he kill them? They became sick and then they died. How old were they? They were less than 1 year old. But I am sure that the guy who sold me the shamba did not want me to buy the shamba, so he went to Mchawi and he managed to kill my kids. So I had to go to another Mchawi to protect myself, but we still have the shamba and we're building a house there. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this guy. Because that time I was on a blunt. I'm blazed, and I'm like, shit. I can hear the devils telling me, no, shut up. Don't open your mouth. Kenovia, don't open your mouth. I'm struggling. I'm like, what? So I asked him. So I repeated the story to him. Listen to this, Ali. You see the way I've just given you the story. I repeated the story to him, and I told him, okay, so this is what you have said. You have said that this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. And I didn't say anything else. I just repeated the story to him. And the guy sat there for a whole minute and said nothing. Bro, he said nothing. I didn't tell him that you are wrong or right or anything. I just repeated the story to him. And I made it sound exactly the way he had made it sound to me. And the guy was like, shit.
Now it made sense to him.
The guy disappeared for a whole minute. He came back. He was like, shit. He says, wataka kuniambia hii yote iko kwa akili yangu? Nikamwambia, I'm not saying anything. You're the one who has given us the story. The person who was selling you the shamba went to Mchawi because he doesn't like you buying the shamba from him, and then had your children killed through witchcraft.
Then you have to go to another Mchawi to protect yourself.
Then you had to go to another Mchawi to protect yourself. So now, does this make any sense? And I ask him, and you're a Christian? He says, yeah, I'm a Christian. We go to church every Sunday. I'm like, Allah?
You don't believe in your God. Your God is not strong enough. So what was the resolution on that story? Did he come with another story to back the story up?
No, you see in the coast, these guys are used to that story being the main story, and people don't question it. So that day when I put in, I think, only one question. So it threw the whole story in shambles, and they were like, hey, and this guy's like, this doesn't make sense. So he kept repeating that. I'm like, no, I'm not saying anything. I just repeated the story that you gave to me back to you. And now when you hear it, it starts to sound something different. So these guys are not used to being questioned about these stories. So now when you even question, then they're like, shit. And that's what Nani was saying. I think George or whoever was here earlier was saying, you have to counter this bad information with good information.
That's true. But even when you sit with those wavuvis, they say they have to funga themselves for them to be successful in whatever they are going to do in the sea. Because they say the sea has a lot of spirits. So if you are not ile hujatengenezwa, you will not survive there. You cannot come back alive. You will be swallowed in there. Have you heard those stories? Kibe, have you heard about those stories about the wavuvis? In your around?
There's so much noise in your background, bro. Can you fix that?
No, I say, have you heard the stories about? They say they
I don't roll around the wavuvis. The wavuvis bring the fish and they disappear. Stories are for crazy people, and I'll tell you why. Because I have a friend who does real deep sea fishing. Huh?
Yeah, so the guy you had a
Yeah. He's called Isa. Very nice guy. So when I had a conversation with him and I asked him, he says sometimes they go out into the ocean for 36 hours. And I asked him, have you ever seen anything weird out there or even heard anything weird? He says, no. He has been doing it for the last 15 years. He has seen nothing. The last thing that he saw that was weird was this cow-looking kind of thing. But when he Googled it, it is something that everybody else has seen. So it's not a weird thing.
A cow in the middle of the sea.
I mean, it's called manogu or something like that.
Yes, it's like a horse and a cow at the same time. That's what they keep
cow
saying.
Of the sea. Let me see. Cow of the sea. It's called Manates, yes. Manatees or something like that.
Yes, I've had that one before.
Yeah, so he said that's the only thing he's ever seen. That he's been there for many years. He has been fishing at night. He has been fishing during the day. And the only thing that he saw that was weird was this manatee. And then he Googled it and realized it's not as weird. So you tell me, all these wavuvis, what are they talking about? So what? So this is a game of the imagination, and the game of the imagination keeps people very poor. You know that, right?
Yeah, that's true. And the people who keep on practicing those things, they're not developed. And you see, most of the counties where you find there is a lot of witchcraft and whatever is about backbiting, they never progress. They're always backward. And you find somebody from outside will come and progress, and they'll always say that they're being utilized because how can somebody from outside come and take whatever we have and we are not progressing? So they'll also want to reach that guy. But you see, that's the problem. This guy does not believe in their system. This guy will do whatever he has to do, and nothing will happen to him. But the locals will never do anything. The locals will be exactly where they are. I've been seeing a lot of that from Digo all the way to Kunda. That's the problem they have. That's the biggest hurdles. And you see, they live in those mud houses, Namakuti, and they tandika that jambi there, and that's the only thing. And they are very comfortable. To them, to us, when you come from outside and you look at them, you find these guys are really struggling. But to them, they're okay. That's how they are used to. That's their lifestyle, and you can never convince them otherwise. And if one of them succeeds, they'll go and witch hunt him. So for a person to succeed, he has to get out of that surrounding to go somewhere else. That's how it progresses. But if he's still there, he will never. That's the biggest hurdle. Now let's touch on the story of cost. I've just been watching. The president has just signed a bill for them to start selecting the IEBC, to vet the IEBC. That's like half an hour ago. I think that's a good move. There is a good way of starting things. So I think the only thing these guys understand is by going to the street and fight for our rights, because that's the only language I think they'll ever understand, and that's how they'll act on the thing. Kibe, you there?
Yeah, Kibe, I'm still here. I'm just listening. Yeah, you seem to be going somewhere. So you're saying the president signing this is a good thing?
It's a good thing. It's a good thing, the right direction. That
for who? Yes, for the president or for the country or for Gen Z?
For the Gen Z, because now if he has signed that bill, then we'll have commissions. So we have an IBC sitting on the table for the right reason. Now, if you go for any election, we will have people to back us up. Because now, if he had to wait all that time, of all those pressure from the opposition, and he never acted on it, why now? After the pressure from the Gen Z, that's why he's acting. That means this guy is the only language they know is people going to the street and fight for their right. And once you do that, they will listen to you. Without that, nobody cares. They'll do what they want to do. So do you think it was the pressure from the Gen Z? That's why you have to sign the bill now in a rush? Because all the Kina Alonso, Kina were all there witnessing the signing of the bill.
Yeah, but again, and maybe Gen Z are not. And I know Gen Z don't want to hear this, but Gen Z, you might. The same old thieves